Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Hari Bol
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Hari Bol
Krishna Hare Rama Rama Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hari Bol
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama
Jai Ho
Rama Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hare
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare. Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hari Bol. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Hari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Prabhupada, Shila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada,
Prabhupada,
Shila
Srila
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada, Shila
Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada,
Jaya
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 Prabhupada, Prabhupada,
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada,
Jaya
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 Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. Jaya Laddu Gopal, Jaya
Laddu
Laddu
Gopal,
Gopal.
Makan
Jaya
Chora, Laddu Gopal,
Gopal. Jaya
Jaya
Kishore
Kishore,
Kishore
Kishore,
Jaya
Jaya
Kishore
Kishore,
Kishori,
Kishore,
Kishore
Kishore,
Kishori,
Jaya
Kishore
Kishore,
Kishori,
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Nitya Gaura Hari
Hari
Bol, Hari
Bol,
Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura. Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Thank you, Puneet Prabhu. Hari Bol.
हरि बोल
नामा संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय. पुनीत प्रभु की जय.
जय जय हरि बोल.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the static kirtan. So welcome everyone to today's program. I think there is some echo. Let me fix it. Give me a second. Hari Bol. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare,
Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Ram, Ram, Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Ram, Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram.
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare Ram Ram
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Ram
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare Ram Ram
Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Ram
Hare Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Ram
Krishna Hare
Ram
Hare Ram Ram
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram
Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna
Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaur Bhakti. Hare Krishna. So, Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for joining today. So, let me see who all we have today. We have Anil Uncle, Smita Aunty, Siddharth Prabhu, Rashna Mataji, Anita Mataji, Ajay Prabhu, Madhu Didi, I think Puneet is also there. Amesh, Darsh, Vishakha. Thank you all for joining. And we have here Tungvidya, Subrat and Bhavya. So we'll start with 3 Hari Bols. Hope everybody is doing fine. So if you all can unmute yourself, and we will chant 3 Hari Bols. 1, 2, 3. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Okay. So happy appearance day of Mother Sita. Actually in US it was celebrated yesterday and today it is in India. And Mother Sita is the eternal consort of Lord Ram Chandra. So with that note, we can start with our monthly book reading. Let me share it. Is there an echo or is the voice okay?
It's okay, Bhaiya.
Okay, Didi. Okay, hope everyone can see the screen. So, okay. So I think last Saturday we read until here. We're talking about the chapter is from the science of self-realization, and chapter is about choosing a spiritual master. And give me a second. So we were discussing how there are possibilities of so many fake gurus also in today's Kali Yuga, and how can we recognize some fake uh, so-called gurus? And there is a discussion between the reporter and Srila Prabhupada. So any questions or any comments or any points from the last discussion anyone would like to bring up? Okay. If nothing, then we can start with the reading. So the next question reporter is asking, is it possible for everyone to attain the perfectional stage you spoke of previously? Srila Prabhupada, within a second, anyone can attain perfection within a second. Wow. Providing he is willing. That's the key, desire. The difficulty is that no one is willing. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarva dharman paritajya mam ekam sharanam braja. Surrender unto me. But who is going to surrender to God? Everyone says, oh, why should I surrender to God? I will be independent. If you simply surrender, it is a second's business. That's all. But no one is willing, and that is the difficulty. So very, very profound statement. So Srila Prabhupada is recalling the final teaching of Bhagavad Gita, right? After all the 18 chapters, Krishna spoke to Arjun. The outcome is that Sarv Dharman Paritajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja. Abandon all varieties of religion. So it doesn't mean it just doesn't mean that we have to leave all the religions, right? Whatever religious practices we are following. It means that for just abandon any kind of other activities we are doing, which is not Krishna conscious, which is not diverting our senses and our mind, intelligence and ego towards Krishna. Abandon all those activities. That is the real meaning of that verse. That's the final teaching in Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada is saying that anyone who is who is willing to surrender, right? He can get perfection in this lifetime. And in how much time? Within a second. It's just a matter of our desire. Okay, so very, very profound. So we don't have to struggle in your spiritual life for years or for many, many births. If we are willing to surrender right now, Srila Prabhupada is saying, we will get perfection. So reporter asks the next question. When you say that lots of people want to be cheated, do you mean that lots of people want to carry on with their worldly pleasures and at the same time, by chanting a mantra or by holding a flower, achieve spiritual life as well? In this, what you mean by wanting to be cheated? So very, very good question. That's all the condition we see, like in our lives also. The question is like, by cheating, do you mean that, or by saying that people want to get cheated, do you mean that most of the people, they want to be on the two boats, material life and spiritual life at the same time, and that's why they want somebody, some kind of guru, who can promise them the worldly pleasures also at the same time? That's a very, very important question, because that is the condition of most of us, or all of us. We always want to be on both the boats, right? Srila Prabhupada answers, yes, this is like a patient thinking, I shall continue with my disease, and at the same time, I shall become healthy. This is contradictory. The first requirement is that one become educated in spiritual life. Spiritual life is not something one can understand by a few minutes talk. There are many philosophy and theology books, but people are not interested in them. That is the difficulty. For instance, the Srimad Bhagavatam is a very long work, and if you try to read this book, it may take many days just to understand one line of it. The Bhagavatam describes God, the absolute truth, but people are not interested. And if by chance someone becomes a little interested in spiritual life, he wants something immediate and cheap. Therefore, he is cheated. Actually, human life is meant for austerity and penance. That is the way of Vedic civilization. In Vedic times, they would train boys on brahmacharis. No sex life was allowed at all up to the age of 25. Where is that education now? A brahmachari is a student who lives a life of complete celibacy and obeys the commands of his guru at the Gurukul, which is the school of the spiritual master. Now schools and colleges are teaching sex from the very beginning, and 12 or 13-year-old boys and girls are having sex. How can they have a spiritual life? Spiritual life means voluntarily accepting some austerities for the sake of God realization. That is why we insist on no illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, or intoxication for our initiated students. Without these restrictions, any yoga, meditation, or so-called spiritual discipline cannot be genuine. It is simply a business deal between the cheaters and the cheated. So in short, the idea is that if we want to follow spiritual life, Krishna conscious life, we have to abide by certain rules and regulations. We cannot be on the two boats. So that is in short. Reporter, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada, Hare Krishna. So we can continue with the next section. Anyone would like to volunteer?
The next chapter is with all the humanity to my command. It is February 1936 in Bombay. The pure devotee who 3 decades later will become the world-renowned spiritual master of the Krishna consciousness movement glorifies his own spiritual master. Here we learn the time-honored meaning of the spiritual master, the disciple, and their relationship. I need help here, please.
Sakshat Dharitvena Samasta Shastre Yuktasthatha Bhavayat Eva Sadabhi. Maybe we all can read together again. Sakshadharitvena Samasta Shastre Yuktasthatha Bhavayat Eva Sadabhi. Kintu Prabhuryaha Priyavatasa Vande Guru Shri Charanavindam Vande Guru Shri Charanavindam Vande Guru Shri Charanavindam. So this is the one of the verse from the Guru Ashtakam that we sing every day.
In the revealed scriptures, it is declared that the spiritual master should be worshipped like the supreme personality of Godhead, and this injunction is obeyed by pure devotees of the Lord. The spiritual master is most confidential servant of the Lord. Thus, let us offer our respectful obeisances into the lotus feet of our spiritual master. Gentlemen, on behalf of the members of the Bombay branch of Gaudiya Matha. Let me welcome you all because you have so kindly joined us tonight in our congregational offerings of homage to the lotus feet of the world teacher. Acharya Deva, who is the founder of this Gaudiya mission and the president Acharya of Sri Sri Vishwa Vaishnava Raja Sabha, I mean my eternal divine master.
Paramhans Parvikacharya,
Parivekracharya Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. Jai Hari Bol.
Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada.
Right. 62 years ago, on this auspicious day, the Acharya Deva made his appearance by the call of Thakur Bhakti Vinoda at Sri Kest Jagannath Dham at Puri.
Sri Kshetra Jagannath Dham at Puri. Jagannath Puri is also known by the name Sri Kshetra.
Sri Kshetra. Gentlemen, the offering of such an homage as has been arranged this evening to the Acharya Deva is not a sectarian concern, for when we speak of the fundamental principle of Guru Deva and Acharya Deva, we speak of something that is the universal application. There does not arise any question of discriminating my Guru from yours or anyone else's. There is only one Guru who appears in an infinity of forms to teach you, me, and all others.
Haribo.
Haribo.
So very nice section here, lot of points I think we should quickly take. So this verse from Guru Ashtakam, beautiful verse that says that Guru is direct representation of Lord Hari, Lord Sri Krishna. Sakshat Dharitvena Samasta Shastra. And he should be worshipped. For a disciple, he should be worshipped like Krishna only. But the spiritual master himself will never say or should not say that he is Krishna. So that's a tattva understanding there, that a genuine guru will never proclaim himself as Krishna. He will always say, I am Krishna, I am the servant of Krishna. And his job as a guru is to engage his disciples into the service of Krishna. He offers his disciples in the service of Krishna. Okay, and we can also understand this like Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, like he is the supreme enjoyer, or he is the Lord in the enjoyment or as a master, and Guru is Lord as in the servant mood, in the servitorship mood. And this is very important. The spiritual master is most confidential servant of the Lord. It means he understands the mission of Krishna. Krishna is infinite and it's impossible to understand him. We can read all the scriptures in the whole world, in all the universes combined. Still, we will not be able to understand. Scientifically, we can understand in a way when we say universe is always expanding. In this way, Krishna is also expanding, meaning his desires, his feelings, spiritual feelings are also ever expanding. His enjoyment is ever expanding. So technically, no one can understand him completely. But because spiritual master is tuned in with Krishna, he can understand his desire, what he wants from us, right? So that is very important to understand. And that's why when we sing Mangala Charan, and I apologize, we forgot to sing Mangala Charan before they start. But what do we sing? Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale, right? One of the line is Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale. So Manobhishtam means we are praying to those acharyas or those spiritual masters who have understood the Manobhisht, meaning the mind the intention, the desires of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And because they understand the desire of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we should follow them, we should pray to them to guide us. That is the whole meaning of that Mangalacharan. Okay, another point is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. How did he appear? He appeared by the calling of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who is also known as the seventh Goswami, and a very, very great personality, a householder, and father of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. And he actually asked, he prayed to Krishna that I want a son who can help me in the mission, in spreading the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And by his prayers, he was blessed with Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, and he appeared in the very, very auspicious, very, very pure Dham, Jagannath Puri Dham. Anything else? Any would like to point out from these paragraphs? Very, very important point is the last line that Uncle read. There is only one Guru who appears in an infinity of form to teach you, me, and all others. We have discussed this many times. Guru Tattva is one. And he appears in, like, who is the Guru Tattva? Lord Balram. In fact, it is even more confidential. Shri Guru Tattva is actually combination of Lord Balram and Mother Radharani. He comes with the mercy, with the love of Radharani, with the strong, like a guru, right, of attitude of Lord Balram. So very, very, very special Tattva, Guru Tattva, and he appears in different forms to teach us. Okay. If anyone has no other comments, we can proceed. Anyone would like to read the next paragraph?
The Guru or Acharya Deva, as we learn from in the bona fide scriptures, delivers the message of this absolute world, the transcendental above of the absolute personality, where everything is non-differentially serves the absolute truth. We have heard so many times, Manjo ye gata se parata, transverse the trail which your previous Acharya has passed. But we have hardly tried to understand the real purport of this sloka. If we scrutinizingly study this preposition, we understand that the Maharana is one and the royal road to the transcendental world is also one. In the Mundaka
Upanishad
1.2.12, it said, Tad Vijanarnartam sa gurum eva
Bhi Gachet.
Bagicha Samat Panchi Saryotayam Brahma Nistam.
Tad Vijnanartham sa gurum eva abhigacchate gachet samit panihi srotriyam brahmanishtam. Good try, Amish. Carry on.
In order to learn the transcendental science, one must approach the bona fide spiritual master in disciplinic succession, who is fixed in the absolute truth. Thus, it has been enjoyed herewith that in order to receive that transcendental knowledge, one must approach the Guru. Therefore, if the absolute truth is one, about which we think there is no difference of opinion, the Guru also cannot be two. The Acharya Deva for whom we have assembled tonight to offer our humble homage is not the Guru of a sectarian institution or one out of many differing exponents of the truth. On the contrary, he is the Jagat Guru, or the Guru of all of us. The only difference is that some obey him wholeheartedly while others do not obey him directly.
Okay. Next.
In the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.17.27, it is said, Acharyam mam vijaniyan navan manyate kadhi chit na martya buddhaya yashuyata sarvadeva mayo guru. One should understand the spiritual master to be as good as I am, said the blessed Lord. Nobody should be jealous of the spiritual master or think of him as an ordinary man, because the spiritual master is the sum total of all demigods. That is, the Charya has been identified with God himself. He has nothing to do with the affairs of this mundane world. He does not descend here to meddle with the affairs of temporary necessities, but to deliver the fallen, conditioned souls. The souls, or entities, who have come here to the material world with a motive and enjoyment by the mind and the five organs of sense perception. He appears before us to reveal the light of the Vedas and to bestow upon us the blessings of full-fledged freedom, after which we should hanker at every step of our life's journey.
Yeah, so so when we keep saying Guru is Sakshat Hari, so whatever we say or whatever we claim in the spiritual knowledge should be based on Guru, Shastra and Sadhu, right? So here is the proof. Srimad Bhagavatam itself says, what the Krishna is saying in 11th canto, 17th chapter. This is where Krishna is instructing Uddhav Maharaj. Lot of instructions to Uddhav Maharaj. Krishna is giving, and lot of verses are there about the importance of sadhu sangha, the good sadhu sangha and the bad sadhu sangha, and also the about the importance of guru. So Krishna himself is saying one should understand the spiritual master to be as good as I am. So whatever we are discussing is based on scriptures. Okay. And can somebody think of example? What does it mean by, like, why would anybody be jealous of spiritual master? If somebody has taken initiation diksha, it means he at least surrendered to Guru. So why is there even a question of being jealous of the spiritual master? Any scenario or example we can think of?
No.
What it means is, generally, one of the scenario, what happens is usually sometimes out of false ego, disciple may start thinking that Gurudev, right? He is also another body. Maybe he is little more advanced than me. Those kind of feelings may come when we see somebody acting like a normal person. He sometimes stays with us, so we feed him, so he's eating like us. So that kind of, in Hindi we call it deha buddhi, right? Too much familiarity might come up, or out of our pride or arrogance, or maybe I should say ahankar, we might start thinking, oh, he's just like me. What is great about him? Those kind of, we might not be expressing it, but they may come internally, and a lot of time it happens. It's not like it doesn't happen. There are a lot of examples. So that means that a person might become jealous of the spiritual master, and that is very, very big offense. Or even things like, oh, my guru is bigger than his guru, or my guru is, better. Those kind of feeling also, is because Guru Tattva is one. That's what we are understanding. So we cannot commit offense by criticizing any other guru. So that has to be we have to be very, very careful. Another example could be when we start thinking, or a disciple might have taken initiation, but he is not following the orders of the guru. He is not connected, I should say, with the guru. So, and that is subtly or indirectly another example or scenario of being jealous, because if not, if he's not jealous, then he will be connected and he will be accepting the instructions. So those are the situations we can think in that way. Okay, any discussion on this? Otherwise, we can move to the next paragraph.
The transcendental knowledge of the Vedas was first uttered by God to Brahma, the creator of this particular universe. From Brahma, the knowledge descended to Narada. From Narada, the Vaisadeva. From Vaisadeva to Madhava. And in this process of disciplic succession, the transcendental knowledge was transmitted by one disciple
to another till it reached Lord Gauranga, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who posed as the disciple and successor of Sri Isvarapuri. The present Acharyadev is the 10th disciplic representative from Sri Rupa Goswami, original representative of Lord Chaitanya, who preached this transcendental tradition in its fullness. The knowledge that we receive from our Gurudev is not different from that imparted by God Himself in the succession of acharyas in preceptorial line of Brahma. We adore this auspicious day as Sri Vaisya Puja Titi.
Vyas Puja, yeah.
Because the Acharya is the living representative of Vyasadeva, the divine compiler of the Vedas, the Puranyas, the Bhagavad Gita, the Mahabharata, and the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay. So nothing but we are talking, the discussion is about the Guru Parampara here. So we all, I can quickly show that Guru Parampara. Give me a second. All of us have seen this picture many times, right? So we are just talking about the Guru Parampara. So whenever we choose a Guru or we think about Guru, or we have to make sure he is in the bona fide Parampara, bona fide lineage, and that lineage should go up to Krishna. So we should at least investigate that. Okay. So here is Srila Prabhupada. I hope you can see my mouse. Then like this, whole chain is going on. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we all come in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami, Bhakti Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Gauradas Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, and Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. Next, sorry, what happened here? Something is wrong. Up, right. Yeah, here you go. So we can start from here. One who interprets. Anyone would like to read?
One who interprets the divine sound or Shabda Brahma by his imperfect sense perception cannot be a real spiritual guru, because in the absence of proper disciplinary training under the bona fide acharya, the interpreter is sure to differ from Vyasadeva, as the Mayavadis do. Srila Vyasadeva is the prime authority of Vedic revelation, and therefore such an irrelevant interpreter cannot be accepted as the guru or acharya. Howsoever equipped he may be with all the requirements of material knowledge, as it is said in the Padma Purana, Sampradaya vihina ye mantraste nishphala mata. Unless you are initiated by a bona fide spiritual master in the disciplic succession, the mantra that you might have received is without any effect.
Yeah, so very important that without Guru, mantra is not fully powerful. So that's why that is another reason of accepting a Guru. Shastra says in the Padam Puran, Sampradaya vihin ye mantraste nishpala mataha. So anyway, Srila Prabhupada is our Jagat Guru anyway, but there is a requirement of living Guru also, so that we can get guided properly in the spiritual life. Next.
On the other hand, one who has received the transcendental knowledge by oral reception from the bona fide preceptor in the disciplic chain, and one who has sincere regard for the real acharya must needs be enlightened with the revealed knowledge of the Vedas. But this knowledge is permanently sealed to the cognitive approach of the empiricists. As it is said in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.23, Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tata gurau tashyate katita yartha prakashante mahatmanaha. Only unto those great souls who simultaneously have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed.
Okay, next.
Gentlemen, our knowledge is so poor, our senses are so imperfect, and our sources are so limited that it's not possible for us to have even the slightest knowledge of the absolute region without the surrendering ourselves at the lotus feet of the Sri Vyasadeva or his bona fide representative. Every moment we are being deceived by the knowledge of our direct perceptions. It is all the creation or concation of the mind, which is the always deceiving, changing, and flickering. We cannot know anything of the transcendental region by our limited, perverted method of the observation and experiment. But all of us can lend our eager ears of the rule receptions of the transcendental sound transmitted from that region to this, though the unadulterated medium of Sri Guru Deva or Sri Vyasadeva. Therefore, gentlemen, we should surrender ourselves today at the feet of the representative of Sri Vyasadeva for the elimination of all our differences bred by our unsubmissive attitude. This is accordingly to said in Sri Gita 4.34. Somebody has to read
Tadvidhi pranipadena pariprashnena sevaya उपदेक्ष्यन्ति te jnanam jnaninam tattvadarshinaha.
Just approach the wise and bona fide spiritual master. Surrender unto him first and try to understand him by inquiries and service. Such a wise spiritual master will enlighten you with transcendental knowledge, for he has already known the absolute truth. To receive the transcendental knowledge, we must completely surrender ourselves to the real Acharya in a spirit of ardent inquiry and service. Actual performance of service to the absolute under the guidance of Acharya is the only vehicle by which we can assimilate and transcendental knowledge. Today's meeting for offering our humble services and homage to the feet of Acharya Deva will enable us to be favored with the capacity for assimilating the transcendental knowledge so kindly transmitted by him to all persons without distinction. Gentlemen, we are all more or less proud of our past Indian civilization, but we actually do not know the real nature of the civilization. We cannot be proud of our past material civilization, which is now 1,000 times greater than in days gone by. It is said that we are passing through the age of darkness, the Kali Yuga. What is darkness? What is this darkness? The darkness cannot be due to backwardness in material knowledge. because we now have more of it than formerly. If not, we ourselves, our neighbors, at any rate, have plenty of it. Therefore, we must conclude that the darkness of the present age is not due to the lack of material advancement, but that we have lost the clue to our spiritual advancement, which is the prime necessity of human life and the criterion of the highest type of human civilization. Throwing off bombs from airplanes is no advancement of civilization from the primitive, uncivilized practice of dropping big stones on the heads of enemies from the tops of hills. Improvement of the art of killing our neighbors by means of machine guns and poisonous gases is certainly no advancement from primitive barbarism, which prided itself on its art of killing by bows and arrows. Nor does the development of a sense of pampered selfishness prove anything more than intellectual animalism. True human civilization is very different from all these states, and therefore in the Katha Upanishad 1.3.14, there is an emphatic call. Uttishta Jagatra
Prapya Varan Nibodhata
Nidodata
Shurasya Dhara Nishita Durataya
Durutaya
Durgam Pathas
Bhakta Tat
Tat Kavyo Vadanti.
Vadanti. Please wake up and try to understand the boon that you know have this in these human forms of life. The path of spiritual realization is very difficult. It is sharp like a razor's edge. That is the opinion of learned transcendental scholars.
Haribol. So can we take few points here? Very, very important section we read. Let me go back. Any understanding, any points from the section we read? Why, maybe I will try to put it in the question form. Why is it necessary to hear from spiritual master or from Acharya?
Is it that you get more benefit, if you listen to them or follow their instructions?
Yeah, but why?
Because he's already knows about the absolute truth and he can impart that knowledge to you.
And how does he know? Because we can also study all the Shastras, right? And he must have also studied the Shastras. So what makes him different from anybody else? We're just trying to understand the importance.
So here is a line. To receive the transcendental knowledge, we must completely surrender ourselves to the real Acharya in a spirit of ardent inquiry and service.
That is, that's very important. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is a process, right? But the reason somebody is Acharya or a spiritual master, because he has realized Krishna. Meaning he has himself surrendered to his spiritual master and the Guru Parampara. Is it making sense? Mm-hmm. The real reason we have to, that's why the importance of Guru Parampara. So somebody just cannot appear and say, I am Acharya, I am a Guru. We have to see whether he is totally surrendered to his Guru and the whole Guru Parampara. It's a whole package. So just want to make sure we understand what it means. It's just not a theory. So we have to, when we see the instructions, we have to see whether they match with the previous Acharyas, right? Before we surrender to a Guru. That's very important to understand. And one who is totally surrendered to his Guru then he becomes an acharya. And one of the very, very wonderful point we have to understand is the same knowledge that we might be reading or hearing from anybody, when we hear the same knowledge from Guru after we take initiation, the effect of that knowledge is totally different. It is much more powerful, like a atom bomb or hydrogen bomb, we can understand. Because because that connection is there, right, between the disciple and Guru. So whatever will come out from Guru's heart will be very, very pointed. It could be the same words, but I mean, I can tell from my own experience, it will be very, very profound. Absolutely. It could be the simplest words he will speak. But because the connection we have established through initiation, the effect of those words are extraordinary. And our understanding of Shastras, the scriptures, the spiritual life will take a big overhauling after initiation. And it is very hard to explain because it's a spiritual process. But that's how, and initiate Diksha is just not taking the formal ceremony. We have to connect with the heart of the Guru through connection, through regular communication. Communication is the key. Guru Maharaj says in the spiritual life, the relationship between the Guru and disciple is communication, a two-way communication. So that's how the communication starts and the bonding of the heart starts. And then we get the very personalized instructions. So that is a key. Like we read before, it's not a fashion to just make a guru, but connection has to be there. Okay. So just wanted to make sure we understand. And like Tripti just said about the surrender, so that's the process. The process, once we start surrendering, and then we become humble, then that knowledge will reside in us. Or maybe I can use, we can have that knowledge stay in our heart. We become eligible to get that knowledge and execute upon it. The process is tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevya updekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. We have to approach the spiritual master with very, very humble approach and surrender mode.
Thus, while others were yet in the womb of historical oblivion, the sages of India had developed a different kind of civilization, which enabled them to know themselves. They had discovered that we are not at all material entities, but that we are all spiritual, permanent, and indestructible servants of the Absolute. But because we have, against our better judgment, chosen to completely identify ourselves with this present material existence, our sufferings have multiplied according to the inexorable law of birth and death, with its consequent diseases and anxieties. These sufferings cannot really be mitigated by any provision of material happiness, because matter and spirit are completely different elements. It is just as if you took an aquatic animal out of water and put it on the land, supplying all manner of happiness possible on land. The deadly sufferings of the animal are not capable of being relieved at all until it is taken out of its foreign environment. Spirit and matter are completely contradictory things. All of us are spiritual entities. We cannot have perfect happiness, which is our birthright. However, which is our birthright. However much we may meddle with the affairs of mundane things, perfect happiness can be ours only when we are restored to our natural state of spiritual existence. This is the distinctive message of our ancient Indian civilization. This is the message of the Gita. This is the message of the Vedas and Puranas, and this is the message of all the real acharyas, including our present Acharya Dev in the line of Lord Chaitanya. Gentlemen, although it is imperfectly that we have been enabled by His grace to understand the sublime message of our Acharya Dev. Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivakacharya Srimad Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. We must admit that we have realized definitely that the divine message from this holy lips is the congenial thing for suffering humanity. All of us should hear him patiently. If we listen to the transcendental sound without unnecessary opposition, he will surely have mercy upon us. The Acharya's message is to take us back to our original home, back to God. Let me repeat. Therefore, we should hear him patiently, follow him in the measure of our conviction, and bow down at his lotus feet for releasing us from our present causeless unwillingness for serving the Absolute and all souls. Hare Krishna.
Okay, lot of points. Anything anyone would like to bring up? Any questions? So we probably should move forward. Anyone would like to read the next section from the Gita?
From the Gita, we learn that even after destruction of the body, the Atma or the soul is not destroyed. He is always the same, always new and fresh. Fire cannot burn him. Water cannot dissolve him. The air cannot dry him up, and the sword cannot kill him. He is everlasting and eternal. And this is also confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes,
Yasyatma buddhi kunapitri dhatuke swadhikalatra bhom ijadhi yatatirtha buddhi salilana karchiv Gyaneshvabhijgneshu Saeva Gokharaha. Very nice verse.
anyone who accepts this bodily bag of three elements, bile, mucus, and air, as his self, who has an affinity for an intimate relationship with his wife and children, who considers his land worshipable, who takes bath in the waters of the holy places of pilgrimage, but never takes advantage of those persons who are in actual knowledge. He is no better than an ass or a cow.
Wonderful, wonderful verse. Wonderful. So we read, I think a couple of weeks back, right? How the beauty of this body is nothing but a collection of bile, mucus, air, and blood, and all the smelly liquid. There was a very gross example Srila Prabhupada gave that we read through. So another important thing is that the most important thing for spiritual growth is sadhu sangha. We can go to river Ganges or take bath, get purified. But if a person has not taken advantage of those persons who are in actual knowledge, who know the real knowledge, then he's no better than an ass or a cow. Like the meaning is he's no better than an animal. The cow, somebody can think like why cow is mentioned. So the purpose is just the animal.
Somehow it lost.
Animal. Okay, we can continue.
Unfortunately, in these days, we have all been turned foolish by neglecting our real comfort and identifying the material cage of ourselves. We have concentrated all our energies for the meaningless upkeep of the material cage for its own sake, completely neglecting the captive soul within. The cage is meant for the undoing of the bird. The bird is not meant for the welfare of the cage. Let us therefore deeply ponder this. All our activities are now turned towards the upkeep of the cage, and the most we do is to try to give some food to the mind by air and literature. But we do not know that This mind is also material in a more subtle form. This is stated in the Gita 7.4. Bhumir apo vayu
Kamano
kamano
buddhirevacha.
buddhirevacha
Vacha. Kar
ahankara
ityam me
ityam me bhi
bhinna prakrtir ashtada.
ashtita. Earth, fire, water, air, sky, intelligence, mind, and ego are all my separated energies.
So one thing, whenever we read verse at home or wherever, it is very important that we understand the meaning. It is even okay if we don't read the verse sometimes. The meaning, we should understand the meaning of the verse. That is very, very important. Translation. Sorry, Mataji, please go ahead.
Okay, we have scarcely tried to give any food to the soul, which is distinct from the body and mind. Therefore, we are all committing suicide in the proper sense of the term. The message of the Acharya Deva is to give us a warning to halt such wrong activities. Let us therefore bow down at his lotus feet for the unallowed mercy and kindness he has bestowed upon us. Gentlemen, do not for a moment think that my Guru Deva wants to put a complete break on the modern civilization, an impossible feat. But let us learn from him the art of making the best use of the bad bargain, and let us understand the importance of this human life, which is the fit for the highest development of true consciousness. The best use of this rare human life should not be neglected, as it is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.9.29. Prabhuji, Labdhuba sudurlabham idam bahusam bhavante manusyam arthadham anityam apitha
Dhiraha turnam yatet napate anumrityu yavana nishreshasya vishaya khalu sarvatah syat.
This human form of life is obtained after many, many births, and although it is not permanent, it can offer the highest benefits. Therefore, a sober and intelligent man should immediately try to fulfill his mission and attain the highest profit in life before another death occurs. He should avoid sense gratification, which is available in all circumstances.
Very good. So very nice words, right? So self-gratification is available in all the species, cat, dog, and all the other millions of species. But the opportunity to make the best use of this human life, which is to inquire, who am I, who is God, what is my relationship with the God, and all those things, those spiritual questions, only in human life. One question I have is, so what is this bad bargain? What is the bad bargain here means in this line? Art of making the best use of bad bargain. So what is that bad bargain is being referred to here? What is that bad bargain?
This human life?
Yes, Mataji, perfect. This human body is the bad bargain because although it is highest in the species, still it's material. Still we are bound in the cycle of birth and death. So this human body is still a bad bargain, but we have to make the best use of this bad bargain. So whatever the qualities have been given by Krishna for this human consciousness, human species, we have to make use of those qualities and get out of this entanglement. Thank you. Okay. Where were we? Yeah. We still have a couple of minutes. We can read one more paragraph maybe from here.
Let us not misuse this human life in the vain pursuit of material enjoyment, or, in other words, for the sake of only eating, sleeping, fearing, and sensuous activities. The Acharya Deva's message is conveyed by the words of Sri Rupa Goswami, Bhakti Rasmantra Sindhu
Bhakti Rasamrit
1.2.25.
Sindhu. Yeah.
Bhakti
Rasamrit Sindhu.
Rasamantra Sindhu.
Yeah.
Anakshatrasya
Anasakyasya Vishyan.
Visyam
Yes.
Yatharam Upanujatha
Yunjataha Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe
Mande
Yuktam Vairagyam Yuchyate
Yuchate
Prapanchikatya Buddhaya Hari Sambandhi Vastuna Mukshivihi Parityago Vairagyam Falgu Kathyate. Wonderful, wonderful verse. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Hari Sambandhi Vastuna Mumukshuhui Parityago. Lot of points here. Please go ahead, Uncle. Sorry.
One is said to be situated in the fully renounced order of life if he lives in accordance with Krishna consciousness. He should be without attachment for sense gratification and should accept only what is necessary for the upkeep of the body. On the other hand, one who renounces things that could be used in the service of Krishna under the pretext that such things are material does not practice complete renunciation. The purport of these shlokas can only be realized by fully developing the rational portion of our life, not the animal portion. Sitting at the feet of Acharya Deva, let us try to understand from the transcendental source of knowledge what we are, what is this universe, what is God, and what is our relationship with Him. The message of Lord Chaitanya is the message for the living entities and the message of the living world. Lord Chaitanya did not bother himself for the upliftment of this dead world, which is suitably named Mrityaloka, the world where everything is destined to die. He appeared before us 450 years ago to tell us something of the transcendental universe where everything is permanent and everything is for the service of Absolute. But recently, Lord Chaitanya has been misrepresented by some unscrupulous persons, and the highest philosophy of the Lord has been misinterpreted to be the cult of lowest type of society. We are glad to announce tonight that our Acharya Deva, with his usual kindness, saved us from his horrible type of degradation, and therefore we bow down at his lotus feet with all humility.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Yeah, so our objective should be to understand what is God, what is our relationship with Him, what is the sambandh, right? That is the whole objective to study the scriptures. Okay, so we read a lot today. Anything anyone would like to add, or have a question, or would like to get clarified, or may like to share, whatever might have stuck to your mind?
Too many things in this pages, lot of material.
Yeah. Anything that you might have liked, anybody would have liked?
Prabhuji, yes. I like this when they said about spiritual master is the most confidential servant of Lord, and he should be worshipped like the supreme personality of Godhead, and that he understands the mission of Krishna. So those are...
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Krishna, to add on, I also like that point and how we shouldn't take the guru for granted and we shouldn't be jealous of him because he is here to give us knowledge and like he got it from the absolute truth. So he is here to impart us that knowledge.
Very nice.
Hare Krishna. There was one point that I think we sort of touched on earlier on in the book about how through the disciplic succession, our imperfect senses are able to understand the absolute truth. And I don't think it was explained as thoroughly as it in this chapter, since it's totally dedicated to the topic of guru. So it makes more sense now that the reason that we're able to understand that is through, yes, the disciplic succession, but most importantly, the guru who is able to impart that knowledge directly to us, because he's already seen it, as we said in that one Bhagavad Gita verse.
Yeah, very good point here. Yeah, we should be able to take some simple points, or at least 1 or 2 points from each discussion that we can try to medicate for the rest of the week. Or maybe we can try to understand more about those points through whatever study or book reading we are doing at home. So that will be wonderful.
I have a question, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Yes, if you can explain, like they said in one statement that spiritual master is the sum total of all demigods. So, can you add to this?
Yeah. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that so we can see it in 2 ways. In Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, then when somebody is worshipping demigods, actually he's worshipping Krishna only indirectly. So we have discussed the example of a company, right? We all work, whoever is working in a company, they work for the CEO of the company, right? But nobody is directly interacting with them. So we are working through different channels. So Krishna is offering that instead of going through the demigods, you work directly, you worship me directly. Don't go through a demigod, because demigods are his different bodies or his different angas. But another example he gives is like a tree, right? So Krishna is the root of everything. So why don't, if we give water to the root, then only it will nourish. If we give water only to the flowers or the leaves, the tree will not flourish, right? So that's how we can understand that Krishna is the root of everything. So we have to worship him.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
What happens with demigods? It's because they have been assigned with certain department, and in Vedas, procedures, karma kanda has been given where to please a particular demigod or devata, we have to perform certain procedure. So once we perform that procedure, the devata is bound to give us that benediction or that blessing or that item, right? That we are praying for. The demigod's business is not to think what is good for us or not. So as a child, people in ignorance, we might not be asking the right thing for us. But when we pray to Krishna, and still it is okay, if we have any demands, any desire, we can still go to Krishna. Sometimes we say, we should not ask anything to Krishna, but if we still have desires, we should go to Krishna, because Krishna will fulfill them in a way where either a desire will go away altogether, or he will fulfill the desire in a way where our heart will get purified. We will not have any, any desire to, or will not have any attachment to enjoy that desire anymore. That's the beauty of connecting with Krishna. Like we know the example of Dhruv Maharaj in Bhagavatam, right? The reason he went out in angry mood to the forest to get the kingdom bigger than his grandfather, meaning the kingdom greater than the whole universe. But his mother advised him to pray to Krishna. And then he got a guru on the way, Narad Muni, and he gave him the mantra. We saw the mantra is not fruitful until given by guru. So he got the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And how many times he should chant, how he should chant, he got that all gyan. And when he started connecting with Krishna through that mantra, Krishna appeared, Vishnu appeared. And when he appeared, Dhruv Maharaj altogether forgot what he was desiring for. So Krishna had to remind him, right? And Krishna gave him even the higher place than anyone in the whole universe or creation can get. The Dhruv Loka, which is considered to be in the spiritual realm, the Dhruv planet. And Krishna, Vishnu, in the form of Garbha, Shirodakshay Vishnu, himself lives there in his abode. That's the greatest. And what Dhruv Maharaj said, like I was looking for the pieces of broken glasses, all this material opulence. I was looking for the piece of broken glasses, but I have got diamond. I got Krishna, you. So that the life totally changes. We still get our desires in other form, very purified form. Make sense? I hope.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Sure. Any other devotee would like to bring up any other points you might have liked, or any other additions? Or you can add also your revelations also.
Prabhuji, I
Okay.
had one question.
Yeah.
You mentioned just now about praying to Krishna about our desires, but oftentimes when we hear the analogy about going, like being an employee and going straight to the CEO instead of going to the manager, is that kind of like popped into my head. So could you please elaborate on the difference and impact, or should we pray directly to Krishna or go through the Guru first?
Yeah. So yeah, we have, for all our things, we have to connect to Krishna. That is true. But still, we give that analogy to understand the structure. And even when we talk about going directly to Krishna, who is in between Krishna and us?
Guru.
Guru.
Right? So we are still going through the Guru, but we have to go through somebody who is direct representation of Krishna. So that analogy is just to explain the structure of the universe, how the structure, how these positions and different departments have been given to demigods. But the idea is not that we jump the hoops and directly. The thing is that we can go to Krishna, but we are not purified enough. That is the problem. So that's why we need a guru. But I can understand the confusion in the example, but it is just for the purpose of explaining the structure. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other questions? These are great questions, because when I give this example, I myself get, oh my God, I'm not sure that will go well with everybody, because we need to clarify, right, things in our mind. So thank you for asking that question, Vishaka. Okay, so if no other questions, no other points, we can go to the next part of the program, which is to be Narsingha prayer. And today is Diju's birthday. So we all wish for Diju. I'm not sure if he's in the call. Happy birthday, Diju. You're here?
Yeah, I'm
Hare
here.
Krishna. Wish
Krishna.
you a very, very happy and Krishna conscious birthday.
Thank you so much.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Diju.
Thank you.
Happy birthday,
Happy-
Diju.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday.
Happy birthday, Diju.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You made his
So-
day.
Yeah, I made a beautiful, very tasty cake for you, but
Yeah, pizza cake. You wanna see pizza cake?
We're coming.
Okay, so let's show him the pizza cake.
Did you wanna see pizza cake?
Yeah, sure. Let's see the pizza cake.
Yeah. Bhavya, can you show him?
So right now, Krishna is enjoying it. So let me show you. So it is very.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay.
Come, Diju.
I will definitely come after.
Right after the program.
Okay. So, would you like to sing a prayer?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. So, let me pull up the nursing a prayer on the screen quickly. Okay, can you share, Bhavya?
Further.
Okay, we can start whenever you're ready. Did you?
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste
Pralada Ladadaine. Hiranya Kashi Purvaksha. Ilatanka Nakalaye. Ito Narsinho Bharato Narsinho. Yato Yamitato Narsinho. Aye Narsinho Ridaye Narsinho. Mandamim Sharanam Prapade.
Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapade.
Kavakara Kamala Vare. Avyukta Sringa Lalita Ariyanya Kashipu Anuringa Savadrita Narahari Rupa Jagadisha Hare Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare.
Karakamala Hare Naka
Singa Lalita Nyakashipu Nubringa
Hari Rupa Jagadisha
Jagdishe
Hare
Hare
Jagadisha
Hare
Jagadisha
Jagdishe
Hare
Hare
Jaya Narsinga Dev Jaya Narsinga Dev Narsinga Dev Jaya Narsinga Dev
Jaya Narsingadev Jaya Narsingadev
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol
Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol
हरी वो भक्ति विनाशक लक्ष्मी नरसिंह भगवान की जय महाराज की जय Thank you, Diju. Very nice. And I like the way you sang. You sang and then you paused to make sure everybody could speak. It's a very nice way to sing on the call. Thank you very much, Beta.
Thank you.
Okay, and I heard a very, very enthusiastic voice in the background.
Anya.
Anya,
Anya.
wonderful Anya. So next week you will sing, okay?
Anya, okay. Okay,
Very
bhai, I'll
bold.
tell her.
Very nice. Okay, so one good news is that we were collecting some donation for Braj Seva, and one anonymous devotee who would like to be anonymous, he suggested that we should reach out with everybody to everybody in the group and collect. So he gave me the target of $1,000, and until this morning it was half of that, but by now we have full $1,000 with us. So we will do that seva, and definitely whoever has pledged, I will make sure they get the communication and confirmation that their donation has been used. Thank you so much, everyone. Hari Bol. And tomorrow is Ekadashi, so please observe Ekadashi. We can all still eat, but just fast from beans and grains. And let's do a little more japa than we do, and more kirtan than we do usually. And then Wednesday is the Nursing Chaturdashi. So I will share the link. There will be a program, online program, and Katha. Oh, jai, 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 jai. एक second here. जय हो हरी बोल हरी बोल
Hari Bol.
So we will have program on Wednesday, and tomorrow, yes, tomorrow is a very, very special topic and a special guest virtual session. I will share the link how to choose Guru at 5 p.m. And I will share the link for that. So thank you all for joining. Again, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Riju, once again, beta, wish you a very, very happy birthday.
Thank you.
We need cake after this lockdown, okay? Cake and party.
Okay.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.